We're good.
Hero.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say a hello, and then I glanced at the stream, and I haven't seen Shiko's what's put there until just now. So
sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
I love it so much. That was a wonderful start. This wasn't it? Yes, hello, folks, and thank you for joining us on this second session of. Sorry, I can't.
Don't look at it. Just don't look at it.
God damn you! The second session of the old myths. Before we jump into it and go around having my wonderful players introduce themselves, I want to just cover two quick things. Well, actually three, I suppose. One is a thank you to anyone watching, whether that be live on the VOD or on YouTube. Your viewership is greatly appreciated, and thank you so much for giving your time to watch this madness that I have spawned. Second, a thank you to Jesse, actually, who has made the words are escaping me.
Overlay.
Overlay, thank you. The overlays and the starting soon screens, etc. And also a quick thank you to Alex Rowe, who is a composer over on YouTube, whose music I have listened to for years, and whose music you've just experienced on the starting soon screen. And he's given permission for a couple of other songs and tracks to be used, so they might come up. So keep an ear out. And finally, all bits, donations and subscriptions for this month of June is going towards the charity Trans Lifeline. Definitely a worthwhile cause, so thank you for any patronage, I suppose, that you give. So it's definitely good where it can do a lot of help. And I think that those are all of my announcements that I need to cover. Yep, looks like it. So why don't we go and have my wonderful players introduce themselves, going anti-clockwise, because why not, on the stream. Stephen, you're up first.
Oh, that means I'm on the spot first. So yeah, I'm Stephen. I will be playing Gilder Tavois, your very normal human ranger. Somebody in this party had to be normal.
I don't know, I have a lot of stuff to mess with you, so normal. Yeah, definitely. And we would go to Shiko, but currently he is departed
Dead.
and is not with us. Let's hope that doesn't happen to his character. So let's jump ahead over to Sam. Or yeah, Sam, because I'm Samuel for this.
Yes, I am not the Samuel. You are the Samuel. Hey, I'm Sam. Samtastic with 3 M's elsewhere, all the places. I'm playing Pyre. We both use she, her pronouns. Pyre's the greatest bitch you'll ever meet, so enjoy that.
I take a little offense to that.
I think that was a wonderful intro. And a pretty good sort of character. So why don't we go to the right? I think, yes, to the right, to Anders.
Hi, I'm Anders. Today I am playing Fenris. Both of us use he, him pronouns. Fenris is an idiot, but he's real fast. Really fast. What he's got going for him. You can find me on the internet at Anders_D_K, and I'm very excited for more terrible tiefling shenanigans.
And I look forward to watching the disaster unfold with said tiefling shenanigans. And why don't we go to the second tiefling of the party, Jessie.
Hi, I'm Jessie. I play Sin, the other tiefling of the terrible tieflings. And the coolest thing about Sin is really her beast companion Umbra, let's be real, the true MVP of this entire party. You can find me at Jahoos the Moose on literally all of the social media sites, including some really embarrassing ones, but like, hey, the past is the past.
And last and definitely least, I think, in the face of these people, there is me. Hi, I am Sam, or for this, Samuel, just to avoid confusion. I can be found on the Twitterverse as Eldritch Warlock, and I will be playing everyone and everything else that aren't these wonderful characters, as you have been just quickly introduced to. And speaking of, why don't we just jump straight into it? And I believe the group has voted that I should be giving the recap because they didn't want the duty of doing so, so I'll do my best. No promises. So we started last session as the group had been marching north through the Zeren continent in the company of around 120 or so others in this mercenary band that's accompanied by a few of the Faith Militant, as all of you have been called to arms to the Delham Forest. Forest that has been reported to have to be a bit haunted in its past, but you have an idea that some of the stories you've heard might be more true than expected if you're being called to arms. And indeed, as you made camp...
Oh, Sam. Oh, that was some thunder.
that thunder was much louder that time.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little nervous now.
Tone setting.
It's good mood setting though. So as you made camp, you realised the boundary of the forest was actually about a mile and a half south, more south than it should be. The forest is growing essentially, and a thick mist was appearing. Speaking of mist, over the course of a night watch, Sin and Fenris had the pleasant company of Tevin, where he told you the basic story that he was taught as a kid when being told not to wander in the forest, since he grew up from this local area. The old words, as he named it. Though when he spoke them in a chorus, other voices sounding atop of his own. And as the night continued, more and more mist rolled in until you could not see any further than 20 feet in front of you. Voxy's loyal knights, one by one, died. May Frederick, Kendall, and Baldric all rest in peace. And you were assaulted by a bear, although this was no normal bear, covered in arcane sigils, and speaking Sylvan, which none of you spoke in turn. But you got the idea, or at least I believe it was Pyre, got the idea it was serving as a distraction more than anything else, and rushing back to the main camp itself, you found scenes of devastation as large wolves and crows with similar sigils as the bear was laying waste to the camp, and above your heads were owls, although these owls had toothy, wide grins, and were speaking in Elvish, which I believe... Elvish, which I believe was it Gilda?
Yes.
And you heard them prophesizing of the warden. Although who this warden is, you don't know. Luckily, these beasts were routed, and that is where we'll be starting today's session. As you are stood in the early morning hours, the rays of the sun barely beginning to crest over the horizon, as this mist slowly begins to dissipate, and you can see the full scene of destruction around you. Tents are burning and are burnt down. You can hear the cries and the shouts of the wounded as some of them slowly exsanguinate into death, and you can see the dead bodies of your allies and of these beasts littering the ground around you. Mainly wolves and crows. You do see one bear off to your right as the mists finally recede. And you do see a few humanoid-ish crows, which you had a brief encounter with. One or two of those bodies are also scattered. But this is definitely a scene of death, and the scent of blood is strong in the air as all of you gather and stand in one place, looking over this scene.
Well, that's certainly one way to wake up.
Oh,
What the fuck's happening?
fuck, and I'm just gonna go anyone that I can, just spare the dying, off within 30 feet of me. Just anyone that's alive.
Make me a medicine check.
Okay. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
That's not great. 10.
Okay. Over the next minute, you manage to stop around 5 souls from slipping away into the afterlife. There are a few you're not quick enough to get to, and sadly, they pass away. But you do manage to save at least a few of your allies and friends.
Cool.
Would I be able to take a look at some of these animals and just see if I can tell? They're obviously not normal wolves and bears.
Mhm.
So can I tell, like, what's different about them?
You can if you want, yeah. I'd say make me a nature check.
Okay, nature. Would this count as monstrosities or aberrations? Because then I would have advantage.
Let me double check that actually, because I believe they might. They don't actually.
Okay, then it's just a 3.
Okay. They're big. Bigger than normal. Bigger than even dire creatures. They've got odd marks on them. They were glowing when they were alive, they're not now. They're big. And that's kind of all you can gather. If you want, though, you can make, I believe, that with advantage if you have a look at one of the owls that was cut down.
Yeah,
Since-
I'll take a look
Since
over.
that would be a monstrosity.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look over at one of the owls then.
You make me another nature. This would be with advantage, I believe.
16.
16, okay. With this one, you do get a few more details. By and large, its biology seems to be pretty much what you expect when it comes to an owl, other than obviously the jaw bone being present in terms of like a massive toothy grin instead of a beak. You do find, though, that there are a few bones that seem more humanoid than avian when looking them over. Obviously, they are hollow and things like that for flight, but they have like a look of that looks almost humanoid to them. Let's see. Is there anything else you pick up? Yes, actually. You pluck out its eye, looking to examine all aspects of it, and actually almost carved into the back of the eyeball itself is an odd rune that you never have encountered before. When I say carved, it looks almost natural, as if it's part of the eye itself, but it has no function. That makes sense.
French fucking birds.
Speaking of birds, I punched a bunch of birds. Are there any just like bird corpses on the ground when I land?
There are lots of bird corpses on the ground when you land, actually.
Grab a couple of them and make my way over to Sin and Umbra. Here, kitty. Toss a couple of dead birds at Umbra.
Umbra's gonna sniff those birds, and I feel like she's gonna physically recoil. They don't look.
I don't get cats.
But she appreciates the gesture and twines around your ankles hardcore.
Oh, no.
Oh, she doesn't stop.
Oh.
I laugh.
Your cat did more in that fight than you did. You know that, right?
Oh, I am fully. Yes, I am fully aware of this.
We should just take the cat from now on. We don't need you.
I mean, I'm the one who orders the cat, so maybe your wings did a whole lot of good. Maybe we should just take your wings and leave you behind.
My fist did more than my wings did. Let's be real. I'm just saying that if the cat is more useful than you are, anyone can tell the cat what to do.
Can they? Do you want to try? Because you keep trying to tell her to go away, and I look down at her, she's still twining around your ankles, isn't listening.
it's just my natural magnetism.
Magnetism? Dude. You're an earthquake.
Things like me.
Well,
Did I?
While all this is going on, you look over and you can see Voxy is kneeling down next to Frederick, the poorly deceased retainer, who so bravely charged back into the camp to give a warning and was sadly cut down in doing so. You do notice as Voxy is doing essentially last rites over Frederick's body, you notice Frederick's sword isn't in his hand. It takes only a few seconds to identify it, pierce it through the throat of one of the wolves. So at least he went down fighting.
Those guys are easy to kill.
Shush! I'm going to go over to Foxy and put my hand on his shoulder and say, they were good men. They were brave men.
They were men.
I mean, and now they're just dead men.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk past and find one of the humanoid raven creatures, and I would like to see what is up with them.
Go ahead. And as you're all saying this, by the way, to Voxy just silently nods. Doesn't really give any other responses, and that though is a bit grieved. You get the idea at the loss of his loyal retainers and friends. But as you approach one of these crows, humanoid crows, make me a nature check.
All these checks that I'm not proficient in. Religion.
Well, actually, what are you trying to? I suppose identify.
I'm trying to identify them and also figure out what their relationship. Because I heard from the voice that wasn't my local god that they were some aberrate, not something like abandoned children. I think disgraced children of the Raven.
Yes. In that case, it would be to do with that specific bit of information. It would be more of a religion check.
Yes, I'm good at those. Let's see. 18.
Okay then. 18. Yeah, your local god is Valhyas.
Yes.
Correct. Yes. Okay. Just checking out my notes. Correct. So yeah, you do know a bit of this. This is information that's very hard to come by, and you kind of came across it scored as a note in some tome when you were with the church of Valhyas. You know that calling the local gods is something of a misnomer. The proper reference to them would be to call them aspects, as they serve as aspects of a higher god. They are but reflections of this higher god and how they interact with those who would literally be burnt up from the inside if they presented their full power. So it serves as a conduit. It's an aspect of their full power. It's a fraction of it. You don't know the name of this higher god that Valhyas is a part of. You know that she's seen as kind of the governor of the afterlife and of sin. But you do know that this god was one of the first gods to experiment and push the boundaries of the higher laws, and created her kin, gave life where she should not have given life. She created them in the afterlife and then returned them into the material plane, which was a big bad thing to do, essentially. And though she wasn't cast down from her duties, her children were influenced by the other gods. They were made to sway from her side. Their bonds to her were shattered, and they essentially went rogue. And sadly, in how they were made, in their abnormal creation, that bond to this higher god was their sanity. And they since have become not insane itself, but kind of untethered and aimless. They are willing to serve whoever can recruit them. they have no true sense of loyalty. They're kind of shadows of what they once were. So you can't really gather anything explicit about who was commanding them, but you do know that they can be easily commanded and swayed with the right persuasion.
I'm gonna sit down and just kind of plop down next to it and just have a drink. Pull out my pipe.
Okay.
Cannot deal with this information.
As you're doing so, and I assume the rest of you are gathering with them, with Fire, rather.
I forget.
Yeah.
I forget. Did we realize Taryn was missing last session, or was that kind of like a epilogue-y we realized?
You didn't realize in this session itself, but I will say at this point, with the mist fading, it's pretty easy to see where you were camped, like about 30 feet away from the main camp itself, and see that Terran's sleeping body is no longer next to the now doused campfire.
Okay. Just wrapping up that loose end for us.
But as you're all standing there doing your own investigating, as it were, you hear the sound of footfalls, mainly heralded by them kicking a tent and it collapsing as the last of its weakened support beam just fails from the sudden force. And as you look over, you see a very haggard looking dwarf, thick bushy beard. Probably you know him to be named Roland. He was kind of one of the assistant blacksmiths of this company. Any of you with weaponry will have talked to him at some point. Have it maintained. Same with armor. The company is marching with those who help maintain it, and you know him mainly from working in the portable forges. And he's just limping towards you. You can see one side of his face is covered with slowly drying blood from a large gash that goes across from his temple to the middle of his forehead. His normal armor is missing, and he's dressed in just a tunic and plain trousers. Probably sleeping when this attack occurred, from the looks of things, and was rudely awakened himself. But he's limping towards you, leaning heavily on the mace that he usually wields at his hip. And he's using it as kind of like a cane to support himself as he limps towards you.
Feel right there, son. I'll kind of walk up and help him walk a little bit.
Thank you, Wielder. Fucking bastards caught me by surprise. Got a good hit over me before I got my awareness back. Well, at least I'm happy to see all of you survived, at least. Can't say it much for my brothers, unfortunately, but at least not everyone's dead.
Unfortunately, they caught all of us by surprise. Here, sit down, and I'll just lead him to like a spot by our campfire, I guess, and cast a Cure Wounds to heal up his little gash.
Okay.
Which is a D8. So he can have back 9 hit points if it matters.
Okay. You see the still open wound heals over slightly, and there's unblemished skin there. Well, unblemished apart from the drying blood that covers it. But as you're leading him over, you can feel him kind of fighting against you. And it's only when you cast his Cure Wounds and he gets a bit of his fortitude back that he pushes himself back to his feet. No, lad. As much as I would appreciate to sit down at this point, I have duties. You're being summoned. You're to report to the main camp. Any still on their feet to report to the main camp, naturally. Iris's words herself. So, no arguing, I have to go find others. Any others, as I said, any survivors you encounter, direct them to the main tent. They're being debriefed.
Oh, you make sure you find your way back there. after all of this as well.
He just nods to you and immediately limps off. And you can see he's kind of doing like a circuit of the camp at this point. So, and you get the idea he's probably going towards where the next night's watch was set.
I feel like no arguing is a bit much to ask.
I'm gonna just take my flask out and like pull up my leather thing and like find the gash in my side from earlier, because I am down some hit points, and just like this alcohol and just like try to clean my wound.
I'm gonna stop you.
I don't want it to get infected.
That's not gonna help anyone.
There's other ways to do that.
Oh, fine. I'm gonna drink the alcohol instead.
And I'll cast Healing Spirit, I guess.
Oh.
Oh.
You just waste some good alcohol at that point.
Yeah, you of all creatures don't want to waste alcohol. 1d6. Oh, hey.
Clank.
so my dice box is a metal. It's gonna be making a lot of clanking noises.
Thunk.
Thunk. You heal 6 hit points.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, I just going to ball coming back, start heading towards the main camp.
Gilda.
just
Telling
wanna
Anders for
sleep.
wasting alcohol.
Gilda, you especially can pick this up as you like turn your attention towards the center of this encampment. You can hear the sound. It sounds like a crowd beginning to gather. You know, many voices overlapping each other, and you get the idea more and more people are kind of flocking towards the center at this point.
Ooh.
Well, we might as well figure out what's going on. We don't want to be left behind. I'm not exactly excited to be doing it, but we are getting curious, so.
Fine.
You don't have to pay attention on this. You just have to be there.
Let's at least.
Fenris. But yeah.
That's right. Wait, I would also just like to say, so Healing Spirit is an actual intangible spirit, so that heals things. So now there's a little bat flitting around us, and it's a 5-foot cube. So it's gonna flit towards like other people in our 5-foot cube and heal them, because like why not?
Yeah, I'll say at this point you can all, if you're missing any hit points, get back up to full.
Oh, sweet.
Woo-hoo!
Full?
I think that would eventually come about, if I believe. How long does Healing Spirit have?
It's concentration for up to an hour, I think.
Okay,
Up to
yeah,
1
'cause
minute.
it's-
Sorry, 1 minute.
Okay. So who are you focusing on healing specifically?
I would focus on who's hurt most. Andrew, Fenris.
I was still down, but yeah.
I
Yeah.
think technically Voxy would be, but Voxy's also not here.
So let's say Voxy and Fenris.
I literally used no resources during that fight, not even a spell.
Well, hey, you and I were rangers. We were long
Yeah.
distance shooting.
My
Oh,
where am I at? Hold
I
on,
don't
have
think
to do
Umber
math.
got hurt.
Oh, I used.
I'm
did I
not that
use
far
any
down.
points?
Yes, you spent many.
I think
You did spend some key points, yes. All right, so yeah, everyone's la-di-da-di-da healed.
Okay. As you're heading towards the main camp, you'll hear a soft clearing of the throat. And as you look to the side, give me a second, looking for the name. There it is. You see a cloaked figure, their face shrouded in shadow, not of the hood itself, but of an arcane nature, their features hidden. And you see emblazoned upon the breast of this cloak the sigil of Tereske. So that's Tereskae.
T-E-R-A-S-K-E. K-E-E?
A.
A-E. Okay.
Who you know to be the local god of suffering.
Oh, so a happy
Great.
person.
Good timing.
So he's specific suffering, pain, and comfort.
Oh, okay.
And also most of those within Treske's church tend to take a vow of silence, speaking only when they need to. As would you watch them glide over, rest a hand on Voxy's shoulder, lean in and seemingly whisper something to Voxy before guiding him away with no other words.
That was not suspicious at all.
I guess we'll just catch up with Voxy later. Okay.
I think it would pretty common knowledge, especially when you're traveling with a few members of the Faith Militant who are in Treske's church. They tend to give not so much last rites, but they deal with something that's tangentially related. You don't know the details, not being part of the church itself. You do know they tend to do some sort of rite with corpses and the dead. Nothing necromantic. Anything you've seen, it doesn't have any effect, but there is customs and rituals they follow. And it's not uncommon for them to sometimes grab an individual and include them in their rituals.
Okay.
Just no secrets are given outside of the church.
Catch you later, Voxy. Let's go be doing
To
the
the large
things we
crowd of
need to
people.
do. Hooray! Responsibilities.
I feel like we're gonna get yelled at. That's just me.
I feel
Why
like,
would we get yelled at? We did everything we could.
I feel
I
like
don't know.
Fenris always gets yelled at, so this is a standard for him.
You've already yelled at me for this. Like this was my fault.
I'm not yelling, I'm quietly speaking towards your face.
Just go.
Let's go.
We're going.
I want to hang back a bit, and if there is one of those raven creatures around, I want to search it real quick and just see what I can find. If it has anything, if it's feathers, how work.
How
Okay.
work?
Make me an investigation check.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Hey, you find the basic stuff that you kind of observed of them last time. They have a scimitar and a buckler. They wear like plain leathers, and they have like a regular green cloak over top of that. Digging a bit deeper though, you find, or rather you feel something unusual on one of the upper arms, like a change in texture of the feathers. And as you dig a bit closer, you realize one of the feathers there is faked. It's not an actual feather, it's just something made to look like a feather. And as you pull it away from the body, you realize the kind of the tip of it, if you will, the kind of stem, I suppose, is a lot longer than it would be on a feather, as in it actually pierced into the arm itself. And as it comes back, you have like an inch of bloodied material from where it was piercing the skin. And on the underneath of this feather, you find an unusual looking rune that you have never encountered before. Apart from when Gilda might have told you the back of the eye of the owl creature. Those two runes are the exact same.
I'm gonna take that if I can.
Mhm.
Spooky feather.
For it's worth, so Fire, you can add to your inventory runic fake feather,
Runic fake feather. Okay.
and Gilda, you can add runic eye.
Got it.
Can I also take the cloak?
You can, yes.
Sweet.
It's just a regular cloak. You look it over. There's no sigils or anything like that. It's just a cloak.
Good to know.
You do notice there was a particular lack of anything other than what would be used in a fight. So there's no pouches with coin in it or anything like that. Very utilitarian.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
And then I'll join the others.
Okay. Swedge will head. Sorry. Oh yeah. By the way, these creatures are about 5 to 6 feet. There were a couple of variations in size, so that cloak would easily fit you if you want to wear it.
I'm gonna stash it. I'm gonna try to stash it a little stealthily. Just
Okay.
as people are leaving, just
So
like
I'll-
that.
I'll show you have like a pack or something, and as you try and shove it in, it's stealthy, shall we say?
Yeah.
You kind of shove a full cloak into a pack without anyone noticing. It's not exactly easy.
I have the cloak of elven kind.
So,
But
nice
yeah,
cloak.
as you head towards the center of the camp, this is the area that you kind of know where Valen, the captain of the company, his tent is set, as is the tent of Lyrissa, his right hand, and the head of the healers of the company. This is also the tent where you have taken your meals, typically when eating with the rest of the group, and it's also where the command tent is always pitched. As you walk through the camp, though, you can see most of the damage seems to have been concentrated in this area. It's almost like the outskirts, which is burnt and destroyed. There's a middle area where it's barely been touched at all. And then there's this kind of central area where people are beginning to gather, and you can hear the sounds of multiple conversations drifting through the air. The grass has been scorched black, scorched away. The ground scorched black, I should say. And barely any tents are standing. You do notice Raylan's tent and the command tent do seem to remain, and you can notice something you've never seen before, which is blazingly obvious, and you've no idea how you missed it. There's a runic circle, arcane circle inscribed on both sides, on the sides of both of these tents, and they're blazing slightly with a red energy. If anyone wants to make me an Arcana check to kind of figure this out, feel free.
We'll do it.
I'm
Why
not.
not?
I do
Give
want
me a
to.
roll, I'm gonna roll.
I want to lean over to Fenris and be like, "Wow, we did a really good job at protecting the camp."
I mean, I feel like maybe we had this coming. We approached the creepy forest with like an army. I mean, we kind of were just like inviting them to, you know.
Yeah, we could have just left the creepy forest alone. I feel like that would have been best outcome.
Or maybe just like gone as like a tiny sneaky group, just like maybe then they wouldn't have even known we were coming.
Tiny sneak is
I
good.
will point out this is the tiny sneaky group.
This is
There's-
a really big sneaky group.
There's a force about 3,000 strong marching north. This is about only 100 to 120 strong. So it's a very small group and one of many that is marching. And though, as you say, they probably could have done it a bit smaller.
It's smaller.
Maybe like a
for
group
that-
of 5.
For that
It's
Arcana,
okay, you roll.
I rolled a 17. So.
Okay. Did you roll as well, Gilda?
You can just pass by me.
Okay then. Okay. Prior, you get the idea. This sigil, though, you don't really recognize some of the arcane symbols. You can pick out a few of them here and there, and it's essentially it looks like almost a permanent version of a way to absorb elements. Perhaps fire was included within that array, and as such, these tents were prevented from burning down. There are a few other symbols that seem almost like a physical protection, but more permanent than the kind of, oh god, I need to use this now type of casting you've seen it used in the past as a shield, as it were. And you get the idea this is probably why these tents weren't cut down either. They were kind of built to stand, even in the case of an attack.
Meta, yes.
And it's outside of these two tents that this crowd is gathered. And you can see it varies of different races, from like human to tiefling to, you can see one or two furbolgs here and there, half orcs, what looks to be smaller versions of these crow creatures you saw, which you know to be Kenku. Corvian, but a different type of Corvian, I believe. And a couple of other races in between, from the dwarves to the gnomes. It's a rather eclectic mix gathered.
Are there
And-
any other Genasi? Just wondering.
There isn't. And
Cool.
you would know actually from March, there haven't been any Genasi in this company the entire time. So none of them were killed, at least, but you were the only Genasi within the group, within the company.
Word.
Cool.
Yeah, as you approach, you can start to pick out like 5 different conversations occurring at once on the edge of this crowd, which is about 60 people gathered here.
Just pull my wings in so I'm not whacking people as I walk past. Just
What are there like any conversations that are worth listening in on? Or is it mostly just like, I can't believe this attack happened. What's going on?
Make me a perception check.
Okay. I don't like that dice. Cool. Oh. 12.
Okay, you don't see who is saying this, but you kind of catch it, for lack of a better phrase, out of the corner of your ear. It's like a passing thing that you slightly catch notes of.
Okay.
Boy, was Raylan pissed. I don't know. I haven't seen him shout like that in years. Poor bastard that pissed him off. I don't pity them. And then as you keep moving, that kind of conversation drifts away. And as you look around, you can't quite make out where it came from. Or who it came from.
Okay. Are we approaching the tent?
Yeah, I'd say you're approaching it. And unless anyone else wants to kind of pick up any other conversations.
Yeah. I'll try.
yeah. Eavesdropping. Why not?
Eavesdropping.
Voice.
That's a bit. I'll jump back to what Gilda hears in a minute.
That's a natural one. I'm not paying attention to shit.
I got a 19.
Okay. Fenris, you were trying to pay attention, and then you accidentally nudge someone with your wing, and you get caught up in an argument with that person.
Say, excuse me, dude.
Paya and Gilda, you hear what Sin heard. This kind of conversation of Raylan being pissed off and then not pitying whoever it is. But you also catch a few other strands of conversation of one of the Night's Watch groups were found completely slaughtered about 50 feet forward from where they should have been. And you would know there were strict orders you not to leave where you set your camp. To venture out. You are to report anything you hear or discover, not go and investigate it yourself, especially when visibility isn't the best. Just in case of ambush. You can hear also a couple of conversations about how Raylan has landed someone in the infirmary already for some sort of unsatisfactory answer.
Oof. Okay.
You hear that Raylan, who you all know to be kind of a rather jolly fellow for his old age, and for a title of the Old Lion, rather happy and kind man. You know, for him to lose his anger enough to actually land one of his men in the infirmary, he was probably really pissed off. And you might not be meeting the most happiest of captains. And it's, as you're approaching, you hear the conversation at the front of the group die down as the command tent flap is pushed aside and the dark-skinned and red-haired figure of Larissa steps out. You watch her cold gaze sweep across the gathered crowd, land on you four, 5 including Umbra, just points and beckons with a finger, then turns and disappears back into the darkness of the tent.
Maybe, maybe we should just, we didn't see her. We're not gonna, we got things to take care of over there. Whoopsie daisy.
I'm walking.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it's gonna work.
You go first, then. You go first.
You go first.
You go first.
You go first. Umbra goes
Go
first.
in there.
I've just said it.
Umbra pushes you forward.
Oh, stupid cat. Fine.
So did you say Gilda just walked straight in?
Yeah, as they're like arguing over you go first, just heading in.
I'm behind Gilder.
Okay. As the two of you head in then and you pass through the flap and it kind of closes behind you, this argument between Sin and Fenris stops immediately. You can't hear the sound of the crowd outside.
Oh.
There's just kind of like a very faint hum that's obscuring any sound. And as where you're standing is a place none of you have ever been before. The few times that you have been requested to report to the command tent, it has been Roxy, the appointed leader of your small group, who has gone in and had the conversations. The rest of you been left to wait outside for his return. And you're stood in kind of, for lack of a better word, antechamber. You can see that there's a further sheet which separates obviously the main area of this tent from this smaller entrance area, and Larissa is gone from your view.
Of course she is.
As you're looking around, taking in, there's like a few camping chairs, if you will, set up on the side, obviously for people to sit and wait in to be called through. That's when Fenris, Sin, and Umbra step through, and the three of them have this exact same experience of all sound outside deafening suddenly without warning.
So this is where it's been going all those times.
This is incredibly anticlimactic.
This is a crazy tent. I want this tent.
What are we all waiting for? Come on through. Come on.
Okay,
shit.
okay, alright, okay.
The voice of Raylan shouts through past this from the other section of the tent.
Oh, there's more sections to this tent?
I want this
You're in a
tent.
the tent itself is probably I can't find my notes in this, by the way, so I'm making this up off the top of my head. Like 40 feet by 60 feet, if you will. You're in an area that's 20 by 5. It's a very small, well, 20 by 10, sorry. Like a very small
Oh yeah.
square.
What if they ask us questions? Foxy's not here.
Just we'll figure it out. Play it by ear.
Yeah.
Who's in charge now?
Umbra's in charge.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Just
Umbra takes
Heads
the
up.
lead.
Cat goes first.
Cat goes first.
Okay. As Umbra bravely volunteers to lead the group and steps through, and I assume the rest of you follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the back.
Okay.
I guess I will follow
as you
right
all-
behind Umbra.
As you filter in one by one, you step into a large area, though even this is sectioned off from other areas of the tent. Though this seems to kind of be the main area. Well, there's a brazier set dead center where a few burning coals still smouldering. Light is cast by these floating orbs that hang in the air above your heads, and you can see a number of oak tables set up with different maps pinned upon them and different figurines set. And you notice it displays the entirety of the current empire that you're marching through, and you get the idea these are probably different companies that are marching north and their current locations. and you can see there's one larger one set where you made camp. And in the far side of this area, his back turned to you and dressed no longer in his armor as you saw him in the middle of the fight, but instead in a simple tunic. You see the mountain of the man that is Raylan, the old lion. His shockingly white hair pulled back, even from the back, the massive bushy beard that gives kind of a mane effect. You can still see. And from where the tunic is slipping down or has been worn from age, you can see a number of scars decorating his flesh. And he's currently pouring a drink for himself.
Do you think we could
making
have a
no
drink too?
reaction to your presence.
Ahem.
Yeah, just doing the clearing your throat thing.
He just-
Hello.
He just raises one hand and points over to one side where you can see a desk has been set. Probably from the looks of the ground, dragged there, maybe from his own tent, with a series of like 6 chairs on one side and a larger chair on the other side. And he just points.
Ugh,
I think he's asking us to take a seat.
I go take a seat.
So
I'm
what
gonna
are we-
What gave you that idea?
Take a
I'm
seat.
gonna sit.
I'm gonna stay standing.
I'm
I'm
sitting.
gonna mutter under my breath a little bit because I don't think I think to my knowledge, nobody knows. It's probably incorrect, but so as I go to sit down, I'm gonna mutter a little bit and cast Healing Word at 4th level on him. So that's 4d4. Come here, little triangles. Let's see. Oh, no math.
You got this.
Ooh, 4, 3, 1. So that's 8 and 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 healing for him. Oh, plus 5. So 5, 6, 7. So 17 healing for him, and then I sit down.
Okay. You watch him kind of roll his shoulder as you do this, sighing heavily in relief as some sort of pain is alleviated.
Cool.
My thanks, Pia. But I did not call you here to give your healing. I have Larissa to take care of that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I'm sure you don't. All of you, sit. Now, we have business to discuss. Your faults, as it were.
Wait.
And you
did
watch as
say
he
it's our
turns.
fault?
Oh, great. Cool.
You watch as he turns and makes his way towards you, and you can see something you didn't notice on him in the middle of the fight. There's a large scar now, or wound, as I should say, going over one eye, and he is currently wearing a bandage that covers that eye. And you realise what he was pouring into is a massive tankard, as in larger than your normal tankard that you'd find.
Like massive.
Yes, as I gave the description to my players, for those of you who are watching, think Reinhardt from Overwatch. That kind of appearance.
I hope he can charge like that.
That'd be
That's a
great.
sick scar. That's gonna look really badass when it's all done being all bloody.
I don't think he needs scars to help him look any more badass than he already is.
I mean, you can never look more badass. Or too badass. You can always look more badass.
You have it right there, young Fenris. Excellent point indeed. One can never
It's a
look more- yes.
badass scar.
Exactly. Yes, you always need a good story for your scars, especially for when you have a nice drink of. I should get business. I have been scolded enough already. You watch as he settles himself into this chair opposite you, which creaks heavily under his weight, and goes to take a drink from his tankard when you hear a soft clearing of a throat from behind you. Raylan, dear, my dear friend, I told you to stop drinking. And as you look behind you, you do see Larissa has seemingly manifested from nowhere, as is
Oh shit!
her
I
habit.
don't. Please stop doing that.
I don't jump.
I totally fucking jumped.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't with a passive. I don't know.
My
Like,
passive's
hello,
11.
Even with your even with Gilda's insane passive perception, you didn't pick up her approach.
Yeah, Fenris jumps and like actually like wings up like 2 feet in the air. Just shit.
I apologize if I happen to disturb you, Fenris.
That's really cool. God,
Thank
you
you.
magic users are badass.
Oh,
Everyone's so
whoever said
badass
it
in
was
this
magic?
tent.
Whoever said what I did was magic? I have other means. And as Fenris and Iris are having this conversation, the rest of you watch as Raylan just deadpan stares at Larissa, pulls out his tankard and just tips it upside down, pouring the entire drink onto the floor. Are you happy now, Larissa?
I'm not
Damn.
happy.
Exactly. You made me waste good beer.
Why is everyone wasting good alcohol? Why is this a thing?
I don't know. Something to do with my heart or my liver. I don't know. Larissa's always been on my case about it.
Alcohol doesn't hurt your heart or your liver. Alcohol makes you stronger.
Exactly. One of you gets it. Why can't you listen to Fenris, Larissa? He's always on about it. Fenris speaks sense. Gods.
Yeah, I'm so smart.
I laugh.
I'm
Ha.
gonna pull out the pipe and just,
We are not here, Raylan, to talk about your habits, as it were. We'll talk about their failings. You watch as she
Okay, well.
gestures for you, Fenris, take a seat again, and walks to stand behind Raylan's shoulder.
I sit in the chair backwards.
Would you please be so kind as to explain, as Larissa said, your failing in keeping out those beasts from our camp? A large number of them came to your section. Were you not at your posts? Were you sleeping? Or were you otherwise incompetent? And the kind of happy figure has gone entirely from Raylan. And you can see, and you have heard stories of how he has been fighting since he was young, and is now in his, I think it was 70s, late 70s. You're going to see now why he's been able to survive that long, the seriousness that he can project at times.
Do we all throw Voxy under the bus? Cause who did what?
I mean, nothing snuck through when I was on watch. As this was all Voxy's turn.
I mean, he did send in his
retainer.
thank you, retainers when we were told not to go into the mist. And they did go into the mist, and then one didn't come back, and there were weird noises.
Yeah, and there was a bear. So we were like fighting the bear. So maybe when we were fighting the bear, other things got in, but we kept the bear from getting in.
Did you know that I have had reports from the others on watch that they encountered similar noises, similar bears, and said bears did not enter the camp. The only one that did was one that was corralled in by those on watch who also left their post. Indeed, it seems remarkable that a lot of those bears simply stayed away from the camp. I don't know, as a distraction maybe, to lure out incompetent ones such as yourself to leave their post. Did you ever wonder why I gave the command that none should leave? For this exact reason, to ensure there was no exploitation of our gaps.
The fair majority of us did stay in our camp, and these things still passed by. So it's hard to say what was happening, but it's clearly beyond what we can reasonably expect. things are happening here that we don't understand. A bear of that size is already unusual. To be smart enough to serve as a distraction, you can't blame us for that. That's something coordinated that clearly no one in command planned for.
I feel like the mist is also something we should bring up. For no natural mist is that thick or that.
Also, the birds. Like,
Don't get me fucking started on the birds.
if we were supposed to stay, like, in our camp, the birds could have still just flown over our fucking heads in that mist, and we wouldn't have known shit, and they would have been behind us. So, like, you're throwing a lot of blame around, and, I'm just saying, maybe, I don't know what I'm saying. Please don't yell at me.
Could I ask, what is everyone's passive insight?
I
I believe 18.
11?
11.
19.
Oh no, passive insight's only 13.
19.
Kaya, you're the only one to catch this. When there's mention of the bears and the mist being something no one could plan for or predict, you notice there's a slight glance between Raylan and Lyrissa. Like a brief moment, a brief look before they focus back on the two of you. On the four of you.
Four of us? Five.
Because it's Umbra.
They're right.
Let's
Look.
go.
Umbra.
Umbra's also sitting in a chair. I want everyone to know that.
The best of us.
Why do you think I planned for 6 chairs?
Yeah.
I planned for that.
Did you have any inklings about magical bears and magical mist, maybe? Or some sort of magical attack that maybe we couldn't have planned for, especially without knowing about it beforehand?
Also, Taryn went into the mist and came back very strange, and now he's missing. I
Yeah,
feel
we
like
should go find Taryn.
none of us are discussing that.
We should go find that kid because I did not see his body, which means that
Oh.
he's like gone.
Or eaten?
Terran? Did you say Terran?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the little tiefling kid.
He came to us, told us a terrifying story, walked into the mist humming, came back humming, went to
Was
sleep.
totally possessed by a
Saying
ghost.
he had to
Or a
tell the
demon
captain
or something. Yeah.
He had to tell the captain.
Raylan, have you ever known my memory to be incomplete? Because I swear, where did you put the files, Raylan? In your watch? As over the next few minutes, she goes and grabs a large sheaf of parchment and flicks through them, and you see there's each of your names written at least at some point, with some notes scrawled underneath. You've never had an individual named Terran in our camp. Are you sure that was her name? I can-
Yes, very, very sure.
She lying through her fucking teeth?
Hmm.
Inside check.
Go ahead, make an insight check.
I thought it was like he'd just been following us, but he wasn't like an official part.
Wasn't he a messenger? I thought he was a
He
messenger.
was like a local.
He was part of the company. He was the dog's boy, as you will. He was enlisted, involved, if you will. I don't know the best word in this case. So he would have his name down because they were keeping close eye on who came and went.
28?
Oh my
Jesus.
god!
She's telling the truth. To her recollection, there's never been anyone named Terran in the company.
Officially. Okay.
Oh.
Well, officially and unofficially, as you were 28, you would pick up.
That's true.
Even if that was a fake name, she knows of no one who would use that fake name.
So, Taryn,
Wait,
we touched him. He was real, right? Did we?
he was a
Fenris?
real kid.
We
Yeah, no,
touched
he was
him.
like a real physical person.
Umbra purrs her agreement because she also touched him.
And you all had memories of him in the camp. That's how you knew him.
I also did physically examine him and find out he's not possessed, so we know that.
Yeah, I did too, but I don't want to admit that.
Have our memories been
Pyre,
altered?
with your passive insight, you watch as there's like a silent conversation between Raylan and Larissa for a moment before he gets to his feet, walks over, and just punches her in the stomach.
What the fuck?
That was the thing.
Although you have the idea that was kind of a signal between them, so not unexpected for Larissa.
Okay,
For the rest
so
of you,
she
you
did
have
the
no
thing.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So to all of you, Raylan just randomly stood up, walked over to Larissa.
I'm going to get up and brandish. Oh shit! What? Not my bow. Not my bow. One of my short swords. And like, what was that?
Calm yourself, Sin. You used to punch harder, Raylan. You've lost your strength. And you watch as she in turn just socks him across the jaw.
I just my short sword drops some.
Is this like a weird sex thing? What is this?
Not quite, Fenris, no. More an old agreement between the two of us, shall we say. We made a similar mistake in the past before. It cost us some old friends. You can consider this us trying to break any influences and to punish the other.
Right.
Raylan.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well.
Do I buy that?
Kind of.
Fine.
Yes, with your passive insight, she's telling the exact truth.
Hey, Sin, hit me.
I slap Fenris.
There are other ways to handle disagreements, but that's
No.
fine. All right.
Well, it's not so much a disagreement, more an unwise bet that we. And you can see for the first time, Larissa is actually blushing and looking ashamed of herself. We kind of signed it in blood and magic, and it was forcefully. We could not break it, basically.
Wow, you guys are into some kinky shit.
Well, if I were marriage counseling, remind me not to come to you two.
What type of bet was that exactly?
It was more between us about who could drink the most. Let's just say, but I don't remember that night, and neither does Valen. And we woke up with this contract and with some other memorabilia.
Okay, I don't want to hear any more of this story.
I do.
This is getting-
My 2 points still stand. Y'all are nuts and badass, and I love it. This is great. These are
What sort of contract?
Oh, just as if the other fucked up in such a large enough way, the individual had the right to fight them. Basically, we were always looking for a fight. It's just that contract never really came up over all the years.
So which one of you fucked up, and how?
Well, I think they both did because they both hit each other.
That's what I'm thinking. But
Yes,
I want to hear them say it.
We both fucked up. Are you happy?
Yes, very happy, thank you.
Fuck's sake! I told them this would be. I told them this was not what should have been done, but well, you can watch his kind of steels himself for a moment. We had reports from locals, reports of these creatures as you described them, reports that unusual creatures were sighted. That is why we are marching north. You notice the more he speaks, the more he's kind of forcing himself to speak. Larissa can give you the reports themselves before you leave. And let me just look something up because I forgot to do this.
Wait, we're leaving? Where are we going?
Hold on, I need to check what damage this is. 5d10.
What?
That's one of the D10s.
What is happening?
If anyone wants to make an Arcana check, by the way, you can.
Oh yeah.
Sure, why not?
And I was just over here like, what's magic?
Oh, 13.
How do magic work?
Math.
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 17.
Okay. So anyone who got above a 15,
Hey.
you do know there are some magics which, when imposed upon an individual, binding them to a geas, that if they break it, they take a certain amount of psychic damage.
His head's just about to explode.
She's a fucking okay.
And you watch as Raylan topples back unconscious, blood dripping from his nose, eyes, and ears, as he is overwhelmed by speaking information he should not have spoke, as the gears takes effect. And you watch Lyrissa catches him, and as much as she can, with her slight frame to his massive bulk,
I
lowers
rush
him
to
to
help.
the ground.
Part of the thing.
Do I know like the exact like that at the Gaius? Like, do I know all of that?
Yes.
Okay. So what's with that?
That is what happens when one tells information one should not tell. I cannot say more as I am under a similar influence.
Who made that? Did you two make that together, or did someone else?
I have to be careful with my words, but
Working for someone else?
Okay,
who
alright.
do you think ordered the militant to arms and hired you lot?
How much would I remember from the Faithful attack?
All of you would know this. You've got your contracts, your orders to march north. You have no idea why you're marching north, only you're responding to something with the Delon Forest, which is the forest you're near. That's all you know. The orders were sent out to those most trusted and most loyal. You have no idea who issued the orders, which was unusual,
Okay.
but you were promised gold or other assistance in return, which is what convinced you to sign on anyway. But I will say her question was more rhetoric, to give you the answer to your own as to who put the gears upon them.
Yeah.
Basically, the answer to both questions is the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So you pissed off one of them.
Not so much piss them off, more the containment of panic. If individuals were to know the truth, we cannot guarantee that everyone would be safe.
Well, they're dead,
I mean,
so
yeah, none of us know the truth, and there are a lot of people dead outside.
Yes, but as cold as it may be, that much death is less than what would occur otherwise. It's a lesser of two evils. I don't agree with it, but they were our orders, so we followed them.
So we now have to defend this place.
Just give me a moment, please. And you watch as she reaches into her pocket, pulls out a scroll, which burns itself up as she casts a spell. And Raylan's body is lifted up and carried over to like a nearby cot. Lowered into as she gestures for you to follow her into one of the other back rooms of this tent. Well,
Pulse in back. Just a second.
Okay.
I have no idea what's going on. This is some weird ass magic shit that I do not understand. Do we trust these people?
I don't know anymore.
Or-
I mean, hey, Gilda, get out of here. You're not part of this conversation.
I have 22 passive perception. I hear everything.
I might hear.
But
trying to
this
be
loud
quiet,
whispering is very hard to ignore.
Yep.
Can I also-
So, Fenris and Sin, make a stealth check.
Oh,
Oh,
that's okay. That's okay.
I got.
Just to see how quiet can you keep your conversation from Gilda and Pyre.
Hang on. I'm pretty sure I have.
Okay.
That's I can't tell what number this is.
22.
Okay, yeah.
9. I think this is a 4.
So Pyre, you only hear Fenris's side of it. Gilda, you will hear both Sin and Fenris.
He's trying his best, guys.
He's trying his best.
Sweet little bean.
I think we got ourselves into some deep shit.
On the bright side, Larissa is too focused with
Oh, good.
moving Raylan's body
Oh, that's
to
fun.
pay attention. So
Good.
you hide from her. You hide your composition from her.
That's good.
We done. I'm way out of my comfort zone. Apparently, a boy we knew does not exist. What is happening? Who knows?
I just hit things. Like literally, that is my only skill set. Is I hit things for a living
And you
for
hit
money.
things. You hit things good, Fenris. You hit things very good.
But
Not
that
as
is
well
the
as-
only thing I do.
not
I
as
have
well as
no
Aqua.
idea what is happening right now.
Let's just well, it's either we stay here and get eaten by the mist, or we leave and get eaten by the mist. So let's just stay here.
Fine.
We're fine. It'll be okay. It'll work out.
I follow Larissa.
Okay. She leads you into a kind of like smaller meeting room, if you will. Like there's a few chairs set up around a central makeshift table for a more quieter, more intimate conversation, if you will, for lack of a better descriptor.
Oh, because it wasn't intimate before.
Well, basically, the room you were in
Was the big meeting room?
was the big meeting room with all the maps and all the files and everything, essentially. This is there's nothing but chairs and a table, so it's solely for smaller groups to converse.
Okay.
And she gestures for the 5 of you to take a seat, as I assume Umbra will jump up onto a seat again.
Of course.
Of course.
Umbra
She's one of
totally
us.
steals the seat Fenris is going towards. There's a moment there of sits in a different chair.
You are not the first group to question this, but certainly the first ones to bring us information of an individual we did not know about. This oversight cannot be allowed to continue. As such, what happens with you will be different to everyone else. In thanks for bringing that to our awareness. As I'm sure you've heard rumors about individuals who have left their post are being disciplined. They will be restrained to the infirmary, where they are under my domain, where they will then be secreted away and sent to investigate elsewhere. Our way of trying to circumvent our orders, me and Raven both don't like what we have been told to do. However, for you lot, with what you now know, perhaps something else is best. And she sets onto the table a few sheets of parchment.
What's on the parchment?
So someone got static.
I
Yeah,
can
I
hear it.
Yeah. So, I think it's gone now.
I can't hear it anymore.
As you look at the parchment, it seems very neatly written lines of text, just multiple lines of text. The closer look, you realize they are basically transcribed letters or other forms of communication have been all compiled onto a few pieces of parchment. For the past few moons, the local lords of this area have been receiving correspondence such as this. it was dismissed as not of exactly the senpai individual was not of exactly a sane mental state. That they were taking the myths of the Denham Forest a bit too far. Only it was proven that they were telling the truth when those owl creatures were spotted in the cities and near the holdfasts. They were seen observing the goings on of the lords and ladies, as if they were sitting upon the windowsills of their office and seemingly watching what they were writing, gathering information, as it were. That is why the host is marching north, and why the faithful militant has been called to arms. The myths of the Denham Forest seem to no longer be simple stories, and that cannot be allowed to continue. You will find in these letters, which you are to take with you and then burn, different instances of particular note. Unlike the others who are being disciplined for leaving their post, who are being sent to a nearby village, you are being sent to a second one that our informants, mine and Valen's that is, have managed to identify as serving as the source of the majority of these letters. I wish you to find who is writing them and follow that trail wherever it leads. I cannot promise that you will be uninjured, unharmed, but it is your choice to make.
Okay. Well, let's.
I believe that you might be our only chance at this, as much as I hate to say it. We were looking for a small group to enlist, but I dare not let Valen break the gears again, and knowing him, he would insist doing so before me. I fear such an event would finally put his life to an end, and I'm musically eager to see that occur.
I mean, he's 70 years old. He's the oldest one here. Let's keep him alive a little bit longer.
You say that, Sin, but I am a good 100 on him.
Well, okay.
Slightly different.
Humble brag.
Elves.
That said, I do not wish to see his life end before it needs to. I am not willing to let him go that quickly.
Well, that's romantic as shit.
I told you they're into some kinky shit.
You call it romantic, Fenris. I call it a sad reality when an elf decides to tie themselves to a shorter-lived race.
I mean,
Just say human. Not to insult us.
Yeah, what?
But point out our mortality. Anyways,
So, say that again. So you stood. The call stood slightly.
he was just kind of muttering to himself, like, I don't have to call it out, lady. Like, call us human. Jesus.
It's not so much Gilda humans as more the majority of the races that walk this world. We live a lot longer than most of you, and that means we have to bury those we choose to love.
I can understand that feeling, and I will look at Umbra. Because Umbra's an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of us.
Sadness.
Gilda,
Mm-hmm.
make me a perception check, because you might catch this with your passive, but
Because my regular bonus is only 7, so that's a 10. This online dice roller sucks.
It's still better than what I rolled, so don't worry about it. I
Oh.
rolled terribly. You do notice her hand does drift slightly to what seems like an overly large locket that she's wearing for a moment. But she stops herself before she does any major movement.
None of us picked up on that. Oh.
Well, it sounds like you're not really giving us much of a choice for this new task, are you?
I mean, you're kind of volunteering us, but also telling us.
Voluntold.
We've been voluntold, yeah.
That's okay.
By all
Well,
means, if you wish, I will not force this upon you.
no, it's fine. We'll and follow.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not
and,
forcing
like,
it
even if
upon
we
us,
didn't-
but you're laying it on pretty thick that you don't want to ask anybody else.
I mean, we can't blame you. We're
Sadly, many wands do not get followed in times of conflict and what might well be a war for our survival. The need is what is important, so if all of you wish to follow the others who are being disciplined, as it were, you're welcome to do so. I should probably find a different group to put this task onto.
And send more bodies into the fray. It sounds fun, doesn't it?
We are all marching into the fray. It is just who is going to be marching where.
Well, I guess we'll be marching forward. Let's do this.
I mean, I did suggest earlier, like, a small group, so, like...
We got ourselves into this pit. We'll be fine.
They're asking for it.
Very well then. If you will give me minutes, I will make preparations for your departure. It is best that you move as quick as you can. We can disguise you among the number of the dead, and ensure that those that are keeping overwatch of us do not see you split off. I invite you to make use of this room and take a few minutes to recover from the ordeal. I'll be checking on Raylan. As she just strides out, we'll be taking a break here.
Yay.
If that's okay.
That is A-okay.
Okay.
All right. Catch you guys soon.
Are we on break now?
Great. And you're good.
Are we back? Okay. Welcome back to the Old Myths, everyone, for part 2 of episode 2. Before we jump back into it, a couple of things I want to say. That music you experienced during the break there is by the composer Alex Rowe. You can find his stuff on YouTube under the same name, Spotify under the same name, and on Bandcamp under the same name. Also, for the month of June, any bits, subs, and donations are going towards the charity Trans Lifeline.
And we achieved our bit goal, I think,
We
during
did.
the stream.
We are now at
Woo!
So we did,
106%.
yeah. I didn't notice that.
So thank you for those who donated bits.
Yeah, great thanks to those that did. And with that being my post-break announcements, shall we jump back into the game? So as we come back in, you have been sitting in this small meeting room for about 50 minutes at this point. So you've got 10 minutes left in your short rest to speak out of character. You've heard a couple of individuals come in and out of the adjacent room, Larissa talking to them, scolding them, punishing them. You hear a few signs of injuries being afflicted and orders to take them to the infirmary. And you get the idea these are others who were found to have left at their post during the night, and that Larissa and Raylan are trying to make things as authentic as they can to escape scrutiny. And so, what have you all been doing for the past 50 minutes?
Fenris is laying flat in the dirt, just like planked on the ground for the last hour, and just occasionally the wings or the tail twitch. It's meditation. Just in the dirt.
I mean, technically you're staying still, so
Yeah.
I guess.
He might be asleep. You're not quite sure.
Used to it.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm. Frequently.
Umbra
Best
is
monk,
like
guys.
head on her paws, just watching him.
If anyone wants to during this short rest, you can have gone through those letters to see if you can pick out anything.
I definitely want to go through those letters.
Yes.
Anyone who wants to, and you can all go through it together if you want. Make me an investigation check.
I'm good.
Together.
I'll just lay here on the floor. It's fine.
Together. Where'd my dice go? Where did my dice go? Whoa, oh, there it is.
17.
19.
That's good, because I got a 9.
I got a 9. Hey.
Thank God for Gilder.
Yup.
I'll say between the three of you, you managed to go through most of these transcribed letters. There were a few. Essentially, it took the writer, because I can't remember the actual word, the writer of these letters has been speaking that certain myths and legends to do with the Denon Forest are being cited by hunters and others who are going into the depths of the forest itself. The main story they repeat over and over is to do with a legend called the Warden, and they make reference to the story that Terran told you of the old words, where you're told not to topple the totems lest the Warden come for you. But other than that, only a few other instances catch your eye. You read more about odd-looking butterflies beginning to appear. Not exactly unusual in and of itself, but the author, that's the word I was looking for, the author of these letters speaks of these butterflies as being basically corrupted fae. Speaks that in the legends these butterflies come and consume those that wander while young, and they are taken away to somewhere. And the author of these letters notes that there have indeed been a rash of disappearances within the villages bordering the Delam Forest, and villages that you assume have been consumed by the Dedham Forest at this point. And you also find notes. Where are my notes? I should have been more organised for this. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Of odd-looking, centralised storms appearing here and there. Nothing more than pillars of black smoke and harsh winds and crackling lightning, which they appear for about 10 minutes and then vanish. Not so much the phenomenon of ball lightning, but something that makes any who wander too close feel weakened, lethargic, and sadly and the legend goes that those that run across these storms often find themselves dying of natural causes, perhaps a bit too soon, almost as if their hearts simply cannot keep going anymore.
Ooh.
There are a few other references to myths here and there, but those are the major ones that you manage to pick out, or rather Gilda manages to point out as being the ones that hold the most evidence and as most examples being talked about, and as such are the ones that you focus on.
Is anyone regretting our choice?
Certainly something to be looking out for. Oh, what did I get myself into?
Death butterflies. Okay, this is fine.
You hear just a muffled voice from the floor. There's a fucked up situation. Into the dirt.
That's for certain. Should have just stayed home. Should have just stayed home, Gilder.
But the gold. Why are we greedy? The gold.
It's not always about the gold.
What sort of is?
I feel like at this point, this was part of the start of the gold, right? Why else are we here?
Kids aren't cheap to raise. It costs a hell of a lot of money.
You know, I have to buy a lot of raw meat for Umbra. That adds up.
Don't you just kill it yourself?
I mean, sometimes, but she's a very picky animal.
Can't she like hunt?
It's hard to sometimes.
Pretty
you're
sure
in a cave.
she can like
and
hunt.
You can only catch so many bats. You know, you have to carry provisions with you.
She's a spoiled fucking cat.
There she is.
Speaking of, a perfect prop.
So hey,
how long does you talk?
I was just gonna nudge Fenris with my foot. You're good down there, or?
My tail just slaps you in the leg. Just.
Premise, it's about this point that you feel a surge of energy as your key returns to you as you finish your long rest, essentially, and Larissa appears back through the separation, keeping you from the main meeting room, and steps through.
Just the tiefling laying on the floor.
With a cat
So-
watching him.
Those of you that aren't laying on the floor see Larissa kind of does a double take.
Calm on him. He's fine. He's alive.
He's fine. This is you should know this by now. This is normal.
I will be honest, I have seen weirder stuff done by Raylan, so I am not as surprised as I perhaps should be.
Oh!
Just
Yes,
gonna let that one go.
You
let's
can't.
just say he wasn't exactly the wisest in his youth, and was convinced of more than a few activities would do things to cure all ails or realign his key, things like that.
You can stop
Oh.
letting us. No, that's too much.
But I digress. Have you all? I assume you're all still happy with your decision to accept this duty.
Well, I will admit, once we read about the butterflies, I'm a little perturbed, but oh well.
I would like to cast Zone of Truth which is a charisma save.
Zone of truth.
Just waiting. Just
That would be 20.
Should beat it.
Should the rest of us roll for zone of
Yeah.
truth? Because it is
'Cause
a
it's a
zone.
zone.
We're all there, yeah.
However, Raya, you feel her overcome it,
Mhm.
and then let it pass, and you feel it, the influence of Zone of Truth settle upon her mind,
Oh.
as she willingly fails the save.
Oh.
I also think I failed the save.
I got a 16. I think I failed the save.
Oh, is there a verbal component? Did you guys just see me do magic?
I think you have to say, like, I think there's
It's
a.
verbal. It's
Yeah.
verbal somatic. So you just watch that happen.
You just
Um,
yelled
I
out,
also have
Zone
this
of
spell,
Truth!
So I know exactly what you cast.
Actually,
Yeah.
make me an Arcana check, Gilda,
Ow. Just let me have it.
Just let me have it.
because I don't believe you get your magic through divine sources, so there's a
Mm.
slight difference.
I
Oh
don't know.
no.
So mine was a 16.
No.
Okay. So what you got? Sorry, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, or we said, I also got a 16. Did we fail?
Oh, for the save for your.
Yeah.
charisma
No, I got a
save?
16 on. I failed
Oh,
To
you
save
failed
against
the.
Zone of Truth.
You got
Yeah,
it.
you failed the
Okay.
save. I'm just.
trying to figure it out.
What level spell is Zone of Truth?
Second.
Second.
Okay, then yeah, Gilda, you recognize the spell as Zone of Truth. It's slightly different than what you're normally used to when casting it. You can't tell why it's different. Perhaps maybe a different school of teaching.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes,
So you know
that.
it's know what it is, but you don't exactly know
Yeah,
the
sure.
outcome information. It's divine.
Turn the head just dead staring at Pyre like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh no.
Also, to point out, all you've known of Pyre, she's not magic.
I know that's exactly
Except
why
for the
I'm
fire, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Except for now, the Zone of Truth.
I know exactly what she cast.
Get up.
I assume you have some questions for me, Pyre.
A couple. What? Just for my own sake, what did everyone roll on their save?
16.
5.
11.
You've all failed. Do I roll for myself?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Wait.
I remember.
I
Oh.
think technically it's a zone, so you do.
Yeah, okay, I'll roll for me. Oh, very dangerous now. Oh, can I beat a 17?
I think so. I'll double check.
I got a natural one.
Oh no!
Time for the truth, folks.
Let me double check that you do actually
It
need.
says
I kind of
create a
for
magical
flavor.
zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range.
Yeah.
For flavor, I like it if she
That
fails.
enters the spell's area for the first time.
Yeah, so if you're casting it in the area that you're standing,
Yep.
you're including the area, then yes, you would have to
Okay.
make the save.
That's fine. I have failed it. And I go, fuck.
I didn't know Pyre could do magic.
Pyre, you can do magic?
Yes.
Whoa, what
Do
kind of magic?
Do understand, Pyre, that I might not answer all your questions, as I do not wish to break the gears. But by
Right.
all means, go ahead. Although I am curious, what magic is it that you're casting? Valen had some idea that you had magic, and yet he did not tell you where it might be from, so perhaps you'd be so kind as to answer your friend's question.
Which question?
Wherever I get it from, that's for sure.
What kind of
Where did you
magic
get-
can you cast, Pyre?
Enough of it.
I
Yeah.
feel very self-conscious that I am the only one here who cannot do magic.
This is your own fault.
I will point out, Pyre, I think you're in the spell, but it only tells you if you're lying. I think that's how it is. If I'm correct, Zone of Truth just tells you.
It
if
doesn't
someone's
compel you to
lying.
tell the truth? Excellent.
Oh, I thought it compelled
You
us
can-
and we had to tell
Yeah.
You can be evasive, but it has to be true.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, okay, I'm wrong. I
Yeah.
forgot that bit.
So I am technically telling the truth.
You're being
Um,
evasive, but you're
Yeah.
telling the truth.
What kind of
very-
spells can I cast? Enough of them.
an amount. Several different kinds. So, Larissa, when I have my pipe of smoke monsters. What do you know about these? And I'm gonna, do the puff, and then one of the humanoid raven creatures appears in smoke.
They are not ones I have encountered before, either physically or through text. I honestly have no idea what they are.
I sneakily get out my pipe.
Do you have one too?
Yeah, I do.
Um,
Doing all of this behind Pyre's back, though.
Oh god. I'm gonna turn and just say, if anyone has questions for Larissa, I recommend you ask now. While we can.
I make a little smoke umbra that goes and attacks the little smoke bird person.
It dissipates.
So you all watch as the smoke umbra pounces on this crow creature and just tears it asunder. Basically,
Yes.
it's dissipating, but it looks like this creature has just been torn to
apart. Excellent.
MVP.
MVP.
as Umbra gains another kill.
Could she get experience for that? Oh shoot. Do I have any questions for?
I have questions, but I am uncomfortable asking them in present company.
What does that mean?
What
Which
the
company?
Present company being who exactly, Fenris?
Everyone.
Well, then, who were you going to ask the question to?
Larissa.
Oh.
So,
So all of us, not including
Yeah.
Larissa. Interesting.
yeah.
Very well, very well. I do not like doing this often, but so be it. Fenris, you feel almost like a weight pressed against your head, and Larissa's voice rings in your mind. Go ahead and think your question. I will answer it.
Oh shit, and I say that out loud. That's real weird.
What?
What is?
Just in my head.
Oh, I guess that's
Oh, for fuck's sake.
one way to talk to someone privately.
I mean, I was mostly kidding. It's not a good question. I have a very low maturity level, and it was not a question that I should ask in a serious conversation.
Just ask it.
It's too
Fenris.
late.
Just think it.
I was just gonna ask who wears the pants in your relationship, but
Can we all cry?
Just collective groaning.
yeah.
Including from Umbra.
I mean, I knew it was a bad question to ask.
Well, here we are anyways.
I'm so okay. Okay. Larissa just stares you dead in the eye, Fenris.
You're making me uncomfortable.
Out of the bedroom, that would be me. In the bedroom, that is negotiable.
Alright, that's...
Sin gives us a nod of approval there.
Fenris is red in his tiefling skin, but just like gets even redder and just,
Like he's glowing at this
like he was not expecting an answer.
What I have a question. What other information can you give us about this town we're going to?
I have no information about it
We were just
other
sending us
than
to
its
town.
location. Unfortunately, me and Aelin do not exactly have the most leeway, as you could imagine.
Apparently.
Bound by our gears, and we are also watched by our enemy. we did not wish to let those owls into our plans. So we have not been able to send many informants to gather information. We know only the location. The old maps of this area do not give it a name either. We just know where it is. That is the best I can give you, unfortunately.
Sure.
Your Gaius. How long has it been
Has it been since what?
since you came under it?
The Gias.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I see. I would have to say 8 moons ago. The moon has gone through a cycle 8 times since we were bound to our Gias.
Okay.
Did you agree to it?
We did, yes. Me and Raylan both, since we were both young and we met, we have fought to protect those who are innocent and cannot protect themselves. It is our oaths, our duties. This was the best way we saw at the time. We regret some of the agreements we made, but by and large, we agree with them. We have not told everything. We have not broken all of our guesses, all of our boundaries. Only what we believe would now have the most benefit. There are other secrets we keep.
Like what?
That, my dear Pyre, you might find out on your journey. Who knows?
I mean, it sounds like we're gonna get a lot of answers if we go on this quest of ours.
Quite. Let's just say it is often where chaos reigns that you find the truth. And currently, this is where chaos is most centered on Zevin. Pyre. And, Sin. I want the both of you to make me a wisdom saving throw and an intelligence saving throw
Oh
as
my
you
god.
hear those words.
Oh, okay. Natural 20 for wisdom.
Okay.
A 10 for intelligence.
Okay.
Math. 28 wisdom? And then intelligence?
Yes,
20.
intelligence.
Total.
Okay. Sin, what's your total wisdom saving throw?
21.
21. Okay. Could you make me a D100 roll, please?
Oh my god. I'm terrified. I'm
Yikes.
so
Keep
terrified.
happening.
49.
49.
That's how much psychic damage you take.
I'm so scared.
Could you roll again? As that was your wisdom, this is now for your intelligence.
Oh my god.
We're fine.
4.
49 and 4. Okay. And, Pyre, what was your intelligence again?
Shit. Plus the number 20.
You got a 20 intelligence. Okay. Roll me a D100.
100? No, 55.
55.
Yes. I can't
Could
add.
you roll? Could you roll again?
Sure.
Sure, why
As that's the
not?
same thing as Sin, so let's have some variety.
70.
Roll that again. I think that's a bit too severe. So I'm going off the
Great.
table.
Okay.
Oh, good.
54.
I am terrified.
Okay, I'll just take that one. Okay then. So, Sin, as you hear the words, it's where chaos is found that you can find truth. Your mind is pulled back to that time when you were younger. With that, what you believe to be a cult that you were taken to for your sharp eye and keen sight. Those words, as you hear them, and same for you, Pyre, as you hear them, you hear almost like a mental shattering as a magical block on something breaks. The memories that rush over you are numerous. They are unclear, a rush of sensation and sudden knowledge. And for you, Sin, it's all too much, and you can't piece it together. For you, Pyre, you can piece a few aspects of these memories together. A few things, Flair, the memory of being sat at a dining table with many others, and being happy, at being joyful to be included in this discussion, though what you're discussing you can't remember. And then that memory fades, and another one rises to the surface of you agreeing to have memories locked, of you giving your consent to have certain knowledge sealed away. All you know in that moment is it is good for the common people that you make this sacrifice in this moment. Sin, the sudden rush of sensation of these memories that were magically sealed away from you, they echo and reverberate inside of your mind. For the next 20 minutes, you are... pick one item on your person.
Like any item?
Any item or person, actually. So an individual or an item on your person. You can pick.
Are you trying to make me pick Umbra?
You can. It is up to you. It is honestly your choice.
I guess I'll do my bracers of archery.
Okay. The sensation of these bracers on your wrist, their weight, their reassurance, it's steadying to you.
Okay.
It's calming. It helps you break through this sudden surge of information and sensation. So long, however, you know if this reassurance is gone, you might break.
Okay.
So for the next 20 minutes, if you are more than 30 feet from your bracers, you have disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws.
God, I'm so glad I chose my
walk
bracers.
away.
I know.
I kind of wanted Umbra because I thought that'd be fitting.
I mean, like, now I kind of wish I did choose Umbra, but it's too late.
You will also, for the next 20 minutes, feeling this surge of energy, almost this agitated sensation coursing through you, the memories of doing different things you never remember doing, actions and conversations that you never had. For the next 20 minutes, you are compelled to repeat a specific activity over and over. What this activity is, you can choose, but you need to do this to get rid of this anxiety, not anxiety, it's agitation.
I think because it's my bracers, it makes sense that I, like, unbuckle, rebuckle, tighten, unbuckle, rebuckle, tighten, unbuckle, rebuckle, tighten.
Okay. So for the next 20 minutes, that is what you're consumed with doing.
Okay.
Pyre, you managed to fight through this rush of sensation and knowledge a bit better. As such, for the next 10 minutes... Oh. Roll me a D100 again.
Oh my god!
15?
Okay, perhaps better isn't the best word then. For the next 10 minutes, you are trapped within your mind, consumed with these images flashing before you, trying to piece them together, trying to fit them into your knowledge of what your life is. This understanding that you agreed to have this change put upon you is earth-shattering. As such, you are considered blinded for the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
Cool.
Can I use my other senses or?
Yes, it's just blinded.
Okay. It's just 10 minutes.
But the both of you have this rush triggered by the words, "Where there is chaos, you will find truth."
I need to write that down.
And Sin, this doesn't happen for you, and on your next long rest, if you want, you can make me another wisdom and intelligence saving throw to kind of piece through this information that you're suddenly afflicted by.
Okay, I'm gonna write that
But for
down.
you, Pyre, you get the idea. This is what you have always viewed to be a cult, to be some form of mad insanity, this thing where you saw and afflicted many a sin that attracted the attention of your goddess. You get the idea it wasn't so much a cult after all, but that you permitted yourself to think that way, or rather you permitted to have that knowledge be imposed upon you.
Crazy. Is there like, do we have a physical reaction to this? I mean, I guess I'm fiddling like crazy with my.
You
bracers.
definitely have a physical reaction, Sin. Pyre, not so much.
Okay.
Pyre's just sat there, just staring dead ahead, and it looks like she's more lost in thought than anything else.
We'll find out as she tries to leave.
Mhm.
Like, dunk.
Sin.
Yeah.
Okay, there.
Totally fine.
Bracers itchy?
Just yeah, they just feel they feel uncomfortable. I just
Take them off.
nope. I don't like the idea of that. No.
Do you need some powder for them? I used to use that for my kids when they got like rashes underneath their braces. The help?
Maybe. Yeah. I'll sure. Okay. I can try powder. Yeah.
What did you do?
Who are you directing that towards?
Are you talking to me?
Larissa.
Excellent. I did nothing, dear Pyre. I just simply spoke. Why? She's lying.
She can't. Has
Oh,
it been 10?
sorry.
Yeah, Zona's truth is still up, I think.
Yeah, has it been 10?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, no, it would still be up. Let's con that. I simply spoke. Why? What are you suffering?
Wait, people are suffering.
What?
I think you know.
I do not.
I think you have an idea.
I do not.
I'm gonna look in the direction that I hear her from, but it's like obvious that I can't see her, I think.
So to all of you, she's looking like 5 feet to the right of Larissa and about 2 feet too high.
What power do those words have? And why do you know them?
They only have power to those that have seen past the veil. As to what power they have no power. They are words.
Pyre.
But then certain words do have influence.
Yeah, essentially, that's not how magic works.
Do I know what the veil is?
You can make me an intelligence saving throw.
Goody!
This is you trying to delve into this madness that's
Right.
coming through your head, basically, to try and... Because the veil could refer to a great many things.
Let's see, 23.
3. Okay. Roll me a d100, please.
Remember how at the start today, before we started, I went, oh, I won't need percentile die.
Let's need percentage dice.
Did a 33.
I'm kind of glad that I actually am using my percentage dice for once.
Me too.
Okay.
Pyre's having a bad day.
Pyre's having a bad day.
That
I'm
doesn't
just
really-
like waving my hand in front of Pyre's face.
Okay, so I'm going to roll that on my end. because
Precious.
what you actually got doesn't really
Yeah.
apply in this situation. I got the exact same thing.
Oh my gosh.
There we are.
Close bit.
Okay, you have disadvantage on wisdom and charisma checks for the next 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
As you delve deep into the sudden surge of new memories, and you remember lessons, stories being told to you. Make me a religion check.
Okay. At disadvantage. No, it's intelligence. Haha. No. I got really scared. Natural 20.
Okay, then you know
Plus
this.
6. So.
The memory solidifies before your blinded eyes, and you're thrust back into this time where you sat in a very comfy office. There's a fireplace to your right crackling merrily. 2 cups of steaming tea are on the table between you and another figure sat in an armchair across from you, their faces shrouded from sight by a wooden mask that they are wearing. It has been a very long time since anyone dared question the veil. The veil is the result of the sundering itself. As is the task of all acolytes, you must find the chaos to find the truth by your own volition. But, my child, I will tell you this. The veil is the lie that all believe to be true. A falsehood weaved so deeply that no one sees it. Part one, that point between madness and sanity, where you're at the crossroads, and choice is most important. And you, in your past self, goes to say something, and before you can hear your own words, the memory gets pulled away as a kind of ringing sensation begins to occur within your ears, and you feel like almost like a bolt of pain through your temple. You take 3 points of psychic damage.
Chill, 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 chill.
I was like, hold on. So I'll like jolt. And again, looking in the vague direction of Larissa. Just
You're a bit more accurate this time.
okay. Oh right, time. Time is a thing. And I'm trying to find words and I can't, and I just am looking at her like a lost puppy, and I don't think anyone has ever seen me like this. At all.
So the rest of you will watch as Larissa actually walks over to Pyre. And Pyre, you feel a hand rest upon your shoulder very gently. And a warm sensation fills you. And you feel as if you're being swaddled in layers of fabric, being cradled gently, this very sensation of home settling into your core. And you hear Larissa's voice in your head. Calm yourself, Pyre. All must go through this pain once, but you will be stronger for it. I promise you.
Can I respond in my head?
You can certainly try.
Mentally, what do you mean all? I don't know.
All who strive to see past the veil. This is our test. Our crucible. Here we are forged in this moment. Here we face with the road between madness and truth. Steel your mind, Pyre. And Sin, you hear this next bit also in your head. Steel your minds and your souls as you open your eyes to what is to be true, and become those that will teach it, and teach freedom to your friends.
Larissa, I need you to stop talking because it's freaking me out.
Yeah, for you, Gilda and Fenris, Larissa hasn't spoken since she walked over to Pyre.
I have no idea what's happening in this tent.
Just remember, you can ask any question you want. Nobody can lie.
Yeah, my question is, what the fuck is happening?
Just a conversation, Gilda. Nothing more. Don't worry about it.
I don't think you're telling the truth.
And it's annoying me.
I cannot lie in this case, Fenris.
You can't lie, but you can be shifty about it, and you're being shifty about it.
How should I put this then to get your trust?
I think Larissa's telling the truth.
The trust is gone.
I am having a conversation with those that are currently lost, those that are currently at a crossroads and now must make a choice. I cannot tell you more. Each instance is personal. It is up to Sin and Pyre if they wish to tell you.
Sin, I need you to tell me what's going on.
Fenris later.
Now then, she claps her hand together and Pyre, you feel Zone of Truth shatter. I believe that's enough of that. You've all made your choices. Shall we get on with it? You have a journey ahead of you.
Yep,
Yeah,
we
you need to
do.
an unnamed town to fight an unnamed thing to chase after ghost stories. Fucking brilliant.
If you wish, you have two choices ahead of you. I can speed run your way. I can transport you a bit closer to the village. Or you can try and smuggle yourself out this dawn. You would have 20 minutes until watch will be reassigned to the east side of the camp. It is there you'll make your leave.
Yeah, I don't trust you or any of your magics. I'm walking.
I would much rather trust my own 2 feet right now.
I trust one person in this tent, and it's Umbra, so...
Umber, what do you decide? Meow.
Meow, turns around, leaves.
Fuck you. We're out.
Lyris actually walks over to Umber. You keep them safe now, Umber. They will need you for this.
Umbra nuzzles her hand.
And you, Pyre, what is your choice? I shall not impose this upon you. If you wish to walk, say so. If you wish to be transported ahead, say so.
And I'm like trying to find. Am I still blinded? Yeah. And I'm like, things are moving. How far ahead?
I
Let's
will.
see. I could get you about a day's journey.
That's a little far to be by myself currently. I guess I'm walking.
So be it.
Though I think we should go with her. But
Yeah, let's trust the lady who's just done whatever it is you're doing right now.
trust me, we should go with her.
Go with Larissa,
Gonna...
aren't we?
Say again, sorry?
Are we? Have we? Go with her who? Go with Larissa.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, sorry.
but she's sending us away. No?
Yeah, Lyris has given the option, basically. You can either take her magic, though she says she doesn't do magic, but her magic to send you a day's journey ahead. Or she is saying the east side of the camp is currently unguarded, and new guards will not be assigned for the next 20 minutes. If you make your wish leave by your own volition, that's where you should leave from.
And so 3 of us have chosen to leave with.
4, counting Umbra.
It's 4 counts over.
4 of us have chosen to leave through the east gate.
Yeah.
Pyre, you wanna?
I'm not gonna go a day ahead by myself, but I think we're all making a terrible mistake.
We don't know where she'll drop us. What if she drops us in the middle of the mist, surrounded by zombie
Mist.
birds and number bears? If we walk, we can, scout and...
Get a
I
feel for the
hate
terrain.
to burst your bubble, Fenris, but I'm afraid as soon as you step into the forest, you'll be surrounded by mist. That is part of the forest's charms, I guess. It hides all manner of creatures.
But at least
And I'd rather not be dropped into the middle of said mist.
Sneak up on the mist.
it'd be like getting into a hot bath. At least we'd have some time to acclimate.
I mean, but with a hot bath, sometimes the best thing to do is to, like, jump in.
Okay, well, maybe for us tieflings, but I worry about our human friend over there.
Yeah, I'm not resistant to fire. It hurts.
Yeah, you probably get sunburned and then you're the same color as me.
Not
Oh,
the time to
yeah.
make jokes.
If I don't make jokes, I don't know how to cope with anything that's happening right now. It's the only defense mechanism I've got.
Pyre,
The wicked Pharmastan.
what do you feel most comfortable doing?
I don't like it, but I trust her.
I don't like her, and I don't trust her. So
Well, that's your opinion.
I never said I was right. I just said that's where I stand on this.
Should we leave it to Umbra?
Yeah, we did say Umbra's the leader since Foxy's not here.
Yes, speaking of Foxy, I will send him to meet with you. I believe he's currently with a priest of Tereske.
Okay, evens, we go to we do the day jump. Odds, we go to the Eastern Gate. It's an even. Let's go do the day jump. Umbra walks towards Larissa and sits there and looks at us.
Ah, damn cat.
Oh, Umbra, I've trained you too well.
Are you taking my magic then?
I guess our leader has spoken. We will be taking.
I wasn't serious when I said Umbra.
You put it in her head, and now she is running with it. Guess we're taking your magic.
Marvelous then. In that case, please gather round. You watch as she seems to pull a knife from the folds of her robes, pricks her thumb,
Okay.
and just drops the blood onto the ground. And where it lands, it seems to glow slightly. And then slightly growing runic sigils start to erupt from that drop of blood until you're all standing on a massive arcane glyph.
I feel like I would have walked slightly in the wrong direction before someone recorrected me.
I'm gonna.
Vampire by the collar, pull
Yep.
her over.
Well, maybe not hurt the collar. I feel like that's a little aggressive. But hand on shoulder, like, direct you to wherever you need to be.
Cool.
I cannot promise you that you'll be somewhere entirely safe, but I can promise you will not be in the midst of danger itself.
Yeah, see, and this is the route you guys want to go.
Is this...
I'm following the cat.
Umbra got us this far. Umbra knows the way.
You can never rule with a cat, it's a cat.
But that cat is smarter than me, so...
You all watch as Larissa just backs away to the opening of this section of the tent. I wish you all the best of luck. Raylan, come here please for a moment.
Oh my gosh, you're up.
You watch Raylan looking very haggard and weak and staggers forward,
Hey, big guy.
leaning on Larissa. I thank you all for doing this. I would go with you and lend you my aid, but I don't have the strength, I'm afraid, anymore.
Please go sit down.
My glory days are long gone, but I can give you this. He tosses a rolled up parchment to higher, actually.
I have defense missiles. Can I try to catch it?
You can, yes, Fenris, you can try and catch it. I
I have
honestly
an arrow
won't.
catching shield. Plus 2 defense. defense against it. If I can see it.
You
I
can't.
honestly rolled to see who it would go to.
Yeah, we saw.
No, I'm gonna try to catch it no matter who it goes to. So
So it goes towards the blind one, of course.
Of course.
did
What
I
did
get
you get?
it?
What did you roll?
What am I rolling?
Oh, sorry. Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Okay.
Oh
So I rolled a 12, but that's a +5, so 17.
Okay, yeah, you managed to catch it before it accidentally hits Pyre in the face. Sorry, sorry, yes. Anyway, best of luck to you. Larissa, don't drop them in the midst of a swarm of lions as you do to me. And what he's going to say next is gone.
Wait.
The
Before.
surrounding changes for you all.
Wait,
suddenly
We're
without
gonna
warning.
get dropped into this form of something.
Wait, can we before? Can I draw my bow? Cause I'm.
Yes,
Okay.
because you all did hear him just say, "Don't drop them in a swarm of lions,"
Mhm.
which gives you an idea. Maybe he got the title from somewhere else.
Oh.
As the old lion's words ring in your ear, you are suddenly stood, surrounded by mist and trees. The canopy above you is barely visible, and the ground beneath your feet is also barely visible, as the thick mists swirl all around you. Although they're not as thick as they were during the night, and then you can see to your normal depths of vision, depths of sight, rather, whatever. The forest around you, though, is dead silent. And Fenris, you find one of Terran's words the night before ringing in your ears, in your mind. Beware the eyes that peer from eyeless skulls, as directly before you is an odd-looking totem of branches and sticks woven together, and pride of place directly before you there is an animal skull, bleached white from the sun and picked clean of all flesh, and its eye sockets are directly level with your own eyes. And what you see past those eye sockets is not the totem itself. It is not what is on the other side of that skull. All you see in those eye sockets, and only you see seeping from those eye sockets, there is a thick mist slowly falling to pool on the ground.
Problem skull. Bad.
Problem
That's
skull?
Bad skull doing things. Magic
Where
skull.
are we?
Magic
What's happening?
skull is doing things.
Stop shouting at once. It's not helping. That's not normal.
I'm just gonna hold my shield really intensely in front of me because I don't know what's happening.
I'm just gonna start to gently flap my wings to see if I can push the mist away from us. Just a little bit. Just
Okay. You're not seeing what Fenris is seeing. This mist falling from the eyes of the skull. But you do see Fenris trying to flap his wings to push away the mist, and is indeed succeeding in doing so. The mist is clearing slightly around you, and exposing something none of you are really happy to see. Roll me a quick initiative, please.
shit.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Oh my god.
I can't see. Or has it been 10 minutes for the first one?
It has been about 7 minutes at this point.
Oh no.
Oh god.
So I have that, and then they're staggered because I have another 10-minute one.
Oh no, that was the same 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank goodness. I got 22.
So 22 for Sin. 18.
18. 13.
13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13.
What did Pyre get?
24.
I just realized I'm still like
So
fidgeting.
Pyre, Sin. What
The
did
blind
Fenris
one
get?
was first.
Fenris ready
Got
yet?
18.
And what did Gilda get again? Sorry.
13.
So it'd be Fenris, Gilda.
So, old man.
I roll terribly, don't worry. Stood before you, previously hidden by this mist,
It's a bear.
is a large scorpion peering at you from between two trees. Though it too is covered by odd sigils along its body, and is just twisting and skittering side to side slightly as it peers at you. Though as soon as this mist vanishes and it is revealed, it oddly enough screeches in your direction. And Pyre, what do you do? And you do know the direction, by the way. It was screeching. So.
Thank you for the screeching. 'Cause I'm like, where are we? I don't know what's happening. Oh God.
Yeah, so all you know, Pyre, is you're in a place that's suddenly a bit colder because there's no longer a fire warming the tent. It's just the morning breeze. Fenris suddenly started freaking out, and you got a bit colder from the wings. And then there's this loud screech.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. We're fighting already. Cool. Awesome. Superb. I'm just gonna like panic Sacred Flame in the direction of it. I assume at disadvantage.
Well, Sacred Flame
Oh, it's not.
is actually a save, so there's no
Yeah.
disadvantage.
So I'm a Sacred Flame. I'm a point probably at the tree next to it.
So you point out towards where you think the screech came from, and is off target slightly. But you feel like a warm sensation travel down your hand as this divine fire starts to gather, and you feel your arm pushed. So it's pointing directly at the scorpion by some unseen force,
Totally unseen force. Yep.
some unseen aid. As it feels like two tiny bird feet on your shoulder.
Oh.
And as you release this divine fire, it's a dexterity saving throw, correct?
Yes.
That is a 15.
That fails. So
Okay, go ahead and roll damage.
let's see. Ooh, double eights. 16 plus 5. So that's an amount.
Yeah. 21.
So that. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna hide behind my shield. 'Cause
So your watch as Pyre, despite blinded, manages to scorch this scorpion with a blast of odd-looking flames that don't seem to ignite anything before hunkering down behind her shield, blind eyes
all
dancing.
the secrets.
by.
All the secrets are going away.
Sin, you're up next.
How far away is it?
It's about 30 feet, 20 to 30 feet.
Oh, so I'd be rolling at disadvantage with my longbow.
Well, your longbow, so long as you're not in melee.
What?
It's only within 5 feet of you.
Yeah,
Oh,
so it'll be straight
okay.
roll.
Sweet. Well. Be a 16?
That 16 hits.
Oh, yes. Okay.
It's a very large creature.
Bum, 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 bum,
Wait.
bum, bum. Wait. Am I waiting? No? It was
No.
4, 10, 12 damage. Whew. And then I'm going to shoot again.
Good. I said it's a very large creature. Wink, wink.
Oh, wink, wink. Oh, wait.
Because it's large.
Big boy.
So I shoot, that was 12 damage, and
Yep.
Umbra pounce. Pounce, baby.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Shoot, I need to get her thingy.
She's gonna crit.
She
Watch-
crits and kills it.
Watch her crit. Oh, and it would be a pounce.
Go ahead.
No, she totally misses. That was a 3.
Okay. So, as you watch as the scorpion rears back slightly from Pyre's blast of flame, you manage to see this chink in its armor and with that keen eye that got the cult's attention, you managed to drive your arrow directly in between its chitinous armor and directly into the flesh beneath. Unfortunately, that sends it staggering slightly, and
Sin.
Umbra's leap is just mistimed.
Drat.
And next up is Fenris.
Okay. You said that this thing is like 20 to 30 feet away.
Yeah, this is kind of malleable right now.
That's real big, but I think I mean I have 50 feet of movement, so I'm gonna try to run to it and then like run around it to get behind it, so I'm flanking it with Umbra. Is she an ally?
Yes.
Yeah, she's an ally.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so I'm gonna flank the scorpion and go in for a attack.
go ahead.
I'm just gonna punch it. Ooh, that's real bad. That's a 4 plus 9. 13?
Okay, so your fist unfortunately impacts against the thickest part of the chitinous plate, and you feel your knuckles pop from the force.
Ouch.
Fuck! That really hurt.
Thankfully, you do
Elbow.
manage to draw its attention away from Umbra, as it was
Cool.
about.
Cool.
Go.
Good,
It
good.
can attack me, that's fine. I'm gonna attack it again.
Go ahead.
That's a natural 1.
You decide, okay, yes, I can get it this time, and you punch with the same hand, and you swear you feel like one of your fingers is dislocated.
God. Flurry of blows. Pow pow.
Go ahead.
Okay, those are a lot better. That's a lot better. Okay, so that's a 25 and a not natural 20.
Okay.
They both hit. How dare this scorpion hurt your hand?
I
You
know.
get your
Let me
revenge.
punch it again with my hurt hand.
Let me just punch it more.
Either my hand breaks or you break.
Okay, that's 9 points on the first one and
Okay.
10 on the second. 10, so 19.
Okay.
And can I stunning strike it? Because that's
Go
not
ahead.
listed as a bonus action. I think I can just
Yep.
spend a key
Yeah, it's
point
a
to
free
try
action.
to stun it.
Go ahead.
Alright. How does stunning strike work? I think it has to make a save.
Yes, it can't save.
Yeah.
Got an 18.
Yeah, no, that saves.
Okay, that was its first good roll. Okay, so your hand killing you as you pop the finger back into place, the knuckle back into place, crack it, and you decide to do so by further punching the scorpion.
Yeah, that's all I know how to do. Punch, 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 punch.
Gilda, you're up next.
Oh, I could be going before me. Okay, yeah, just drawing up the bow and taking 2 shots.
Go ahead.
So that's a 29
That hits.
and a 30 to hit.
Jeez.
So you manage to find the same chink in the chitinous plate as Sin, and then your second arrow manages to pierce through its mouth as it screeches in pain.
Wow, 2 for the damage. So 16 total damage.
Okay.
Okay.
I should
Black
be on it. But
Black ichor is beginning to pour from where these arrows have struck, and Fenris, you managed to strike the plate that had been weakened by Pyre's blast of divine fire, and that plate is just chitinous plate is just shattered entirely, and you can see like the pulsing flesh beneath as it rears on you, Fenris.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Watch as its claws come down to try and wrap around your throat.
Okay.
So 22 to hit,
Yeah.
and another 22 to hit. 18.
Oh,
on that.
absolutely.
You take 14 points of bludgeoning damage, and I
Did
need
you
you
say
to make
14 or 40?
14.
Okay.
the lesser. And I need you to make me a strength saving throw.
Strength saving throw. Okay.
Oh, wait,
I'm...
no.
Oh,
Sorry,
wait.
no, you're automatically grappled.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's fine. It's totally fine.
Let me just double check what grappled inflicts.
speed is 0.
Is it
Aw,
just
that's-
speed?
That's
I think
the
so, you
only
don't-
thing I have going for me.
You can still punch it.
You're
Yeah.
the speed filler. As you're held there by its claws and lifted up, the stinger whips over its, not shoulder, whips through the air and goes to sink into your shoulder.
Drunk, so I forgot to use my drunken technique on my move and disengage, so I deserve this.
So that is a 19 to hit.
Still me? Yeah, that hits.
You take 6 points of piercing damage
Yep.
and a further
Wait for that poisoning.
8 of poison.
Mm.
Ahahaha!
Mm.
I am immune to poison.
Ah!
I'll
Okay.
eat to that feat, yeah.
So you feel something burning at your eyes, and your vision goes hazy for a moment before this poisonous resistance kicks in. And though you feel terrible as the poison is still coursing through your veins, this is one you have developed an immunity towards. So
I've
you're
drunk
fine.
alcohol that hurts worse than that, you bitch.
So top of the round is Pyre.
Hi. Fenris, are you yelling?
Oh yeah.
You're making a whole lot of noise.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I hear like the screeching and the so I know it's a big bad. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel I'm like I'm not gonna say thank you. And I'm gonna panic cast Blight on it, which is a con save.
Go ahead. Okay. Okay. Why not?
Sure.
Sometimes a bitch panics. Like,
So
can't
I roll terribly with this, because that's a 10.
let me grab my d8s.
Yep.
That's a lot of numbers. Okay. I actually might need help with this because
Okay, go. Name them.
8.
Yep.
6, 5, 3.
19.
Or 22.
Yep.
Let's see here. 5, 10, 15. So 19 on that one.
So 41 total.
40. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
You watch as the rest of you watch as this creature's flesh and even the chitinous shell seems to wither for a moment and then slowly lose its color as it turns into dust. The blight taking command of its body and almost fast forwarding it through time as the arcane influence of the weave tears it to shreds. And Fenris, for a moment as you're held there by these claws, you're staring directly in the scorpion's eyes as it withers away into nothing as the blight takes it to death.
Eyes of things.
And you swear for a moment, between 1 second and the next, there's a skull before you. Oh, that too is taken away into dust. A skull with eye sockets weeping white mist that falls to pool and collect on the forest floor. A skull with ancient wisdom and ancient wrath hiding within its depths, an anger so deep, so primal, it frightens you to even stare at it. And as the scorpion fades away into nothing, consumed by the blight cast by the blind Pyre, and you stare into these eye sockets weeping mist, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw, Fenris.
Oh, I'm so wise.
Nat 20.
Natural 1.
You jinxed it.
Oh no.
So 2.
In that case, natural 1. I'll do
Oh
something.
no.
Oh, you're fucked.
For the next 2 minutes,
Okay.
all of you watch as Fenris. Actually, pick a number between 1 and 3.
3.
Okay. As Fenris just stands as the scorpion fades into nothing, weeping uncontrollably. you're not able to stop yourself. You're so terrified and maddened by this sight that you just saw. Further, 25. Okay.
I mean, I'm going to go towards Fenris.
11, 15. I'm trying to find a good one.
Okay.
Let's see. Nope, I don't really work. Ooh, 90. For the next 4 hours, you gain this trait, this flaw. I can't take anything seriously. The more serious the situation, the funnier I find it. And so weeping uncontrollably, staring into a skull that is no longer there,
Oh god.
at eyes that are eyeless and yet ever seeing, eyes that burrow into your mind as there's nothing left for Scorpion. You weep and laugh uncontrollably, the madness settling into your mind, the impossibility of what you just saw terrifying you into uncontrollable insanity, and you are lost to the world for the next few hours, consumed by the depths of this impossible rage you just saw. As eyes peer from eyeless skulls, watching for those that desecrate the totems. The warden just saw you, Fenris. And he knows you now. And that is where we will be finishing
No.
today's session.
It's too spooky.
Oh,
Going off the
love
ride.
it. You okay there, Anders?
Yeah, I'm good. I was trying to make myself cry, and then I had to make myself laugh. That was fun.
Oh,
Evil
no, I'm so
laughter.
happy about that.
Oh my god, that was a good place to end. Woo. Okay.
It's too spooky.
I love
I'll be
it.
honest, my visual ending place was when you saw the totem. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a 2 minutes. I decided, no, I'll give some insanity in this. I made
Yeah.
a new one.
I think that was really
Push
good.
over the totem next session, right? Just knock it over.
You're told not to do that.
We can't knock over the totems! Look what's already happening.
Only Sin and Fenris know that. I don't think the rest of you told or have
Nope.
recited the old words yet.
I don't think we have.
Nope. I guess.
So there's that to consider.
Yeah. I guess.
But yes,
Next
that
time.
is the end of session 2 of the old myths. So I want to say thank you to all those who are watching, whether that be live on the VOD or over on YouTube. Thank you for your viewership. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you to my wonderful players as well for picking a path that will be interesting. There was a few choices they made which could have gone 2 different ways and unveiled different information, but I'm so glad they chose this one because this is the one I was kind of hoping you'd go down actually. Because this is one that reveals Pyre's and Sin's backstory the most.
Yeah.
So
Great. Cool.
I'm happy about
That's
that, I must
awesome.
admit. Yes, so why don't we go around, tell the viewers who you are, where they can find you on the internet, and your favourite moment. So why don't we start in opposite order? So Jesse, you're up.
So hi again, I'm Jessie. You can find me at Juice the Moose on Twitter and Instagram and all that jazz. And my favorite moment, I think, was when we peeked into Pyre and Sin's backstory and we were rolling all those dice, and Em made that great comment where like only Samuel could make all of the players go wide-eyed.
I was so happy that had the impact I was hoping it would have.
So I think that was definitely my favorite moment. Was just the whole Pyre situation.
And did you say where we could find you? On
Yes,
internet?
I did. Jahoos the Moose, Instagram, Twitter. If you want to check out that Tumblr, you are welcome to. It is long
That
abandoned.
Tumblr.
Yes.
It's long abandoned. But it exists. Yes.
So why don't we go to the next of the tiefling
twosome.
I'm trying to think of something clever there, and I'm too tired to do so. So why don't we just go to Anders?
I'm Anders. You can find me on the internets at Anders_D_K. And my favorite moment was when Pyre decided to cast Zone of Truth, because I absolutely love when people throw wrenches into things that seem cut and dry. I love it. It was great.
Okay. And next up then is the one you just mentioned, Pyre. So Sam.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sam. Samtastic with 3 M's. That's where you can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm a Twitch streamer. I do the thing. Hopefully gonna have some D&D content soon, TM, but that is a work in progress. My favorite moment was nothing that happened to me. No, my favorite moment, I had one, and now I can only remember things that happened to me. My favorite moment was when Umbra decided for us via Jax.
That was just the interesting. I wasn't expecting you to choose the Beastmaster companion as the leader of the group.
Oh, and also learning about their sex life. That was fun. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a interesting choice. But why don't we go to last but by certainly no means least, Stephen.
I want to say again, I mentioned Umbra as team lead as a joke. Yeah, I'm Steven. You can find me on Twitter at Steven Arnold, because I'm very uncreative with Twitter handles. But yeah, my favorite moment was just Samuel this entire time. All the moments he had. This was a real good session. I'm just sort of sad I wrote up just a plain old boring human man. I don't have an interesting backstory, so.
Oh, you say that?
Yeah.
I have plans.
Just let me have my happy family life.
Oh, don't you know? Don't you know though? Any adventure in D&D doesn't have a happy family life.
Yeah, right?
Don't make a family in D&D.
How dare you be happy?
How dare I have a loving wife and 2 children?
But before I introduce myself, I just want to say hello, basically, to those raiding, and I'm so sorry you came in right at the end. But as mentioned in the Twitch chat, if you want, feel free to stick around, as I believe there'll be a raid going somewhere else.
Soul Bear RPG.
Where is it, sorry?
Soul Bear RPG.
You heard that, then to Soul Bear RPG. But anyway, hi, I am Sam, or for this anyway, I'm Samuel, to avoid confusion with Sam. I can be found on Twitter as Eldritch Warlock, where I mainly tweet and retweet, where I can be found all over the internet, as I'm in a couple of different streams. Honestly, I'm too tired right now to really go over all of that. So I'll just end it there with a thank you again to my wonderful players, and thank you again to those who are watching. I also got my favorite moments. I wish I could cheat and just say all of it.
Right.
But I have to be honest and say, getting that chance to reveal this backstory, because as soon as I saw in your backstory's cult, I knew immediately I wanted to subvert that. So I'm so glad I got to introduce that as early as this, and can now explore that with the rest of you.
Yes.
We also didn't plan that. I didn't know you had that in your backstory.
I didn't know you had that in your backstory.
That's why I love it so much. But yes, thank you to my wonderful players, and thank you to the wonderful audience that watched us play this second session of the Old Myths. Do feel free to come by next Sunday at 3 p.m. EDT to catch session 3, where Voxy will no longer be resting in peace. So I just looked at the stream and saw that, but I think that's everything. And I'm just rambling now. So thank you all so much for watching, and have a nice whatever's rest of your day.
Goodbye.
Bye.